And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Live from the GME studio, it's Good Morning Entrepreneurs.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Good Morning Entrepreneurs.
Are you an entrepreneur who has felt like you were all alone on your business adventure? Well, you're in the right place.
You know, being an entrepreneur can be lonely and challenging at times, looking for people to bounce ideas off of and get feedback.
Welcome to Good Morning Entrepreneurs,
the show designed by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs just like you.
Keep watching for your dose of entrepreneurial fun with the Roving Reporters and, of course, Kim and Carrie.
As we like to say around here, buckle up, Buttercup.
Good morning, entrepreneurs, and welcome to show number 105. Crazy that we're in the triple digits, but we are glad you have joined us today. I am Kim White. I am the host and instigator of probably chaos is what I'll call it around here. And I am joined by the lovely Jill Olish. Jill, thank you for joining me today for episode or show, not episode. We've been podcasting too much. Show number 105.
Well, thank you, Kim. It is always a pleasure to be co-hosting with you, even if it means that the universe has shaken something up for me on the way here.
Always.
But I really think that this show has the power to change how I'm feeling about my entrepreneurial adventure. And that's a little selfish, but I do think that all the Roving Reporters, as well as the team, have that in mind when we're putting together the show, because it really could mean that whoever is watching could have their entrepreneurial adventure perspective changed just a little bit by tuning into this show. So it is very meaningful that we're putting this out there, but it's even more meaningful that you are watching. So I am glad to be across the seat from you, Kim.
Thank you, Jill. And that was great. If you're watching, you need to pay attention to Jill. She's on fire today.
So we do start the show off with a little bit of entrepreneurial fun. So let's head into our first segment for today.
Entrepreneur land is the land we live in. It's what I laugh. That is our kingdom we live in, Jill. Today's theme in this land is flexibility in business. The same way that spaghetti before it's boiled is just broken, it can just break. It becomes flexible as it's boiled. I know that's probably a terrible analogy, y'all. But I think if you're not flexible, you will break in business. You have to be flexible.
I agree. It is so much harder on ourselves when we don't have the flexibility. And I can attest to that because I had to learn how to be flexible. I thought I was flexible before becoming an entrepreneur. It wasn't until after that, when I also had, a newborn baby at the same time, where I realized what flexibility really meant. So I do think things can break, and not just things, but ourselves, if we aren't practicing that flexibility when it comes to our businesses.
Love it. I told you she was on fire, y'all.
Well, there's something that we like to do each week and bring you up to speed on some of the things that are happening around here. But it's not just like the events that we took and hosted or that you were able to come to. It's really showing how we as entrepreneurs are doing real things, and that it's not very far away from something that you're able to do. So we all started at 0 or 1. That was the discussion last week. Couldn't figure out which came first.
We still didn't get the final tally either, let me just say.
So we are going to go into what I am able to bring each week, the GME Chronicles next, and just show you exactly some of the fun things that is now taking off from 0 and moving forward. Thank you, Kim and team. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the GME Chronicles. My name is Jill Olish, and we have some updates for you today, April 18th, 2025. The GME Chronicles is a celebration of moving the needle in our businesses, and we want to share these numbers out loud with you, not to show off, but to show you what's possible when we come together in business. Last week included 4 Pilates classes with Kat. My Sexy Business held Kitchen to Kitchen, rounds 31 and 32 of Fire Up Mastermind, 2 sessions of Simple Publishing Mastermind, and 1 session of Groundwork Brigade Mastermind. Adam posted 1 new interview with Andrew Mitch. Kat posted 1 new blog, Staying Fit During a Recession or Financial Crunch. My Sexy Business posted 31 new clips on YouTube, 1 new blog, 3 bad habits that make you leak confidence, and went live with show number 104 of Good Morning Entrepreneurs. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an upcoming show or new clips. 4 new podcast episodes dropped last week. Go give them a listen. We had Sisters in Service with episode 190, 5 and 15 Interviews Leadership Series with episode 60, Late Bloomer Living with episode 227, and Mama Outspoken with episode 21. On Clubhouse, Adam and Kim hosted the My Sexy Business Not Creepy Room on Wednesday, and on Thursday we held the 31st Walk and Talk with the community. You can connect with the Roving Reporters through the GME directory. Head over to mysexybusiness.com/GME to connect with everyone there. Last week's number of 51 brings our grand total to 6,440 amazing things done collectively by this community in just 3 years and counting. We look forward to more updates coming up next week. If you are ready to join in on the fun around here, save the date for the Vision Board Party on April 28th at 6 p.m. Central. And you can always join us in the community where we're meeting in places like the Clubhouse Audio app, at the BVG Studio, Groundwork Brigade Mastermind, the Walk and Talk, Kitchen to Kitchen, and wherever you're watching now, Good Morning Entrepreneurs. Be sure to get more information and upcoming events on our website at our events page at mysexybusiness.com/events. Back to you at the GME studio. Well, cheers on that.
I know. And I have my I'm a fierce entrepreneur mug from the summit happening this week. It was very exciting.
I'm just so glad that you have your mug because mine's in the dishwasher. So I had to grab my chaos coordinator one. So I'm glad you mentioned chaos this morning too.
I love it. Well, we have a special birthday shout out this week for someone who's very close to Jill. We'll say that. That is her husband, Bobby. We want to wish him a happy birthday. It was Tuesday. So happy birthday, Bobby.
Yes, happy birthday, hun.
And you know, speaking of the Fierce Entrepreneur Summit, I think we need to flip the schedule just a little, the agenda. I'm just going to say this. So everybody on standby, we're going unaudible. I think it's important to give honor where honor's due. That's what I say this all the time, and I believe that. And I think it's amazing what you and Kat did leading the summit. But I think we can head into Military Minute with Kat and kick us off today with some juicy, because Kat brings it. She's a bad A, y'all. I don't cuss, but she's a bad A. You have a phrase, Kat, that I love, which is keep it moving. What does that mean, and where did it come from?
That's a military word. It's a military. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Bring up the rear. Keep it moving is just, if you stand still too long, something's going to happen. So in the military, they say keep it moving because if you stand still, you could get hurt. You always want to know your surroundings. So when you keep moving, you're always constantly scanning and looking. And I think that keep it moving is, especially in business, is understanding where you are and understanding where you want to go and seeing that vision so that you can keep it moving. If you don't have a vision of what it looks like, then how are you going to know when you're there? So you have to understand that maybe it's not right now. I want to go here. I want to do this. You're like, okay, that's my vision. That's where I'm shooting for, is to get to that point. And then by the time you get to that point, you have another vision of where you want to go. And I think that's how you build tenacity, but I think that's also how you build your business. It's keep it moving.
I love that one so much. Love Cat, and I love Keep It Moving. Let me just say that, Jill. I think I'm going to bring up in just a little bit that phrase for Cat, because she has another segment later on that I really want to talk about that. So don't let me forget, Jill.
Okay, I will do my best.
She's amazing.
Yeah. I think it's very important that Kat is a leader of the Fierce Entrepreneur Summit, because she is being a leader in her entrepreneurial journey. She went first. This was a first segment that was sponsored by a podcast from any of our roving reporters. So it's pretty incredible to have her stepping forward as a leader in that way. And I'm excited to be co-leading with her. Well, I'm excited to have co-led with her, but this is ongoing. It feels like there's a few now that we've co-led the summit for. And I love it. It's so much fun to be able to do these things with all the roving reporters and leading.
Well, the summit was incredible, and I want to make sure everybody knows. Thank you, Adam, for putting the graphic up, because this is something that is we do a summit every quarter, and I think this one was on fire because it was talking about behind the scenes of entrepreneur life. A lot of times you go onto the socials and you only see the vacations and you only see the flashy things, but there's a lot behind the scenes that you have to do as a human to do business and to build a business that doesn't own you. Because I will tell you, a lot of people build businesses that take their life from them, and we don't believe in that around here. So I think that it was a powerful example of an incredible humans community that comes together to do this, to help you watching. So if you missed the summit, go back and watch the replay. It's worth your time.
I agree. And what's funny to me is the theme that was picked for this quarter, because I feel that probably the last 2 years that we've been on this track of having a good theme for each one, we've always brought up like a behind the scenes comment from every single one of us and what it's like. So now we got to have a whole entire summit about behind the scenes. Just made it so much fun to get that all out.
I love it. And you mentioned the other summits too, Jill. There's a playlist on YouTube that you can go to. You can subscribe to the channel while you're there. Hint, hint. Let me say that, so that you don't miss out on things. But there's a playlist that it makes it the easy button. If you just want to watch the summit things and not all the other bazillion things we're doing on that platform, go check out the playlist, because all the summits are on there.
Yeah. And I think it's a great representation of everybody keeping it moving in their businesses, because we are getting a clearer vision for what it is that we want in our entrepreneurial journeys, adventures, in our business life. But it seems like a lot of us can get stuck on that vision and waiting for it to come. And our next roving reporter, Yvonne Marchese, she busts apart that myth of or that feeling of having to wait until the right vision comes along or whatever we're ready to do. And I'd love for us to feel a little bit more of that encouragement from her, because she encourages me in continuing on this adventure. So Yvonne has some secrets for everybody about older entrepreneurs that I think we are going to be very interested in hearing today.
Thanks, Kim. This is Yvonne Marchese coming to you as a roving reporter for Good Morning Entrepreneurs. I'm your resident age agitator here to talk about later in life entrepreneurship. You know, I have a confession to make. I used to think that if I hadn't made it by the age of 40, that the window had closed. Spoiler alert, I was so wrong. One of the perks of hosting the Late Bloomer Living podcast is that I get to meet more and more people who have launched businesses in midlife and beyond, because we're done waiting for permission. In fact, it's one of the best kept secrets about getting older. You know yourself better now. You know what you like, you know what you don't like. And you're more likely to start a business that excites you and that you can bring your entire lifetime of experience to make it work. In fact, studies show that older entrepreneurs are more likely to succeed. Age isn't a barrier, it's a secret weapon. Experience, resilience, clarity, that's our competitive edge. That's all for now. Back to you in the studio.
Love it. Love it. So Yvonne has the podcast she mentioned, Late Bloomer Living, which is on episode 228, Jill, for this week, which just blows my mind with that too. We have been running together a long time. Let me say that. She just does such a phenomenal job. But she had Laurie Gerber on this week, and they were talking about reclaiming romance. And sometimes I'll just call us we olders. When you get to a certain age, I hear that said a lot. We think that it's too late for business. We think it's too late for love. We think it's too late for anything. Don't buy that BS. Let me just say that. Yvonne is the president of the Age Agitators Club, and she's busting some of those myths on her podcast about us settling for less because we have hit a certain number in our age. So love it. Go listen to Late Bloomer Living.
Definitely. I loved how she said age isn't a barrier, it's a secret weapon. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, quotable right there, Yvonne. And I am so grateful to have Yvonne here in, like, selfishly as part of my group, because I get to follow in her footsteps. She has so much wisdom about it. And as I continue to grow older now, I am also seeing how hard it is to unlearn some things, as well as to now relearn in a simple manner. And what I love about this community, this show, is that we get to have a little bit of that simple handed right to us. And our next roving reporter, Denise Millet, has been extremely impactful in helping me understand more simply some of the harder things that go with our websites. And she is really making it not just simple in terms of talking to us about it, but simple to learn also. So she's got some really good information for us today, and hopefully we can take some more simple out of what she's got ahead of us.
What makes content more valuable to a search engine?
Search engines want people to be happy, and they want them to stay on the search engine. Okay. They want them to be satisfied. Of course, number one, they want them to click on an ad because that's how they make money. But they also want to reinforce their value to the searching public. So that's delivering answers right away and definitions without someone having to click. It's giving lists of things that are easy to find, or other questions they might think of to jog their mind if they need another thing. So search engines value when somebody does click on a link that they're going to be happy and they're going to stay there because then they're satisfied. And that was a good experience in search. They didn't get frustrated by having to search 5 or 6 times to get something that made sense to them. So that they're looking to deliver things that are helpful and useful because it gives them a great reputation as being the be all end all and the place they should go.
She has taught all of us so many things. Let me just say that.
Yes. And we can find more simple answers because, oh my gosh, I did not put this together. I just want to talk about this piece of what she talked about real quick. But Kim, you're telling us quite frequently in our groups that less clicks is more for us in our people that are looking for answers from us, and just having it all as simple as possible out there. The fact that our search engines want that information the same way delivered to them just reiterates the importance of how we do need to make things simple for others to find, because we're not going to want to be messing around and trying to dig through someone's website to try to find a simple answer. And Denise has put a lot of these simple answers on her YouTube page. And it is fire.
She is very helpful there. If you have a question, go and see if she's already answered it. I think the gift that she gives all of us, Jill, is the fact that not only she has answered like hundreds of questions, she's also willing to answer if somebody has a question. So I think that's a thing to go and connect with Denise about, is go to her channel and check out and see if it's already there, because, most likely it is, just saying. But subscribe, because she's always adding more amazing content for making things simple with SEO and making things simple with findability, which she says is the first part of SEO. So.
And you can find it all on YouTube at Findability Queen. So we hope that you make your way over there after the show.
Perfect. Well, we want to talk about a part of our community that I'm very proud of. Let me just say that I'm very proud of it, because when I first did website, I needed Denise. I don't know where Denise was. She wasn't there whenever I started years ago. I needed her. Can I just say that, Denise Millet in the green room? I needed you. But I felt like I wasn't smart enough to do website things. I wasn't smart enough, and I felt less than. And I'm just going to be honest about it. It was a really rough beginning, because I knew I needed a website, but it was so overwhelming. And so, because of that feeling that I have never forgotten, we have a part of our community called Website Royalty that we actually make sure that everyone can get help with. And we're specific, let us be clear, we're specific with the Kajabi platform, because it's what we use and all of our clients use. But Kajabi is the best platform we have found, I will say, that is just, it is a good platform for all in one. We don't want to connect things all the time. We want to do our business. And I think that's the difference is, what we call it Website Royalty for the fact that we want you to feel like you are being treated royally when you use our affiliate link to sign up for Kajabi, because you don't need to feel less than. You are smart enough to do things. You are smart enough to learn things. You may have to unlearn some things, but you are quite capable. So we just want to put out there that this is another piece of the puzzle for our community. We have a lot of pieces, and this is another piece of it.
It is. And I think Kajabi is very special in the fact that they are following some of those simple measures as well, because I have worked in quite a few different website builders just the same as you finding those struggles, Kim, when you first started out and building your website and found this is an answer for that problem and pain point. I find myself trying to recommend Kajabi now to anyone who has something different, because I just don't want to help out with the other things, because I don't remember where to find things. It'll be more of a learning curve for me to go ahead and try and, dig through those tools. And this is just so much simpler and navigatable, just like I want my site to be when I build it.
Well, let's just be very clear and upfront. We went from raving fans to raving affiliates. So this is part of the puzzle of our community that people keep asking, what all do we do? Well, this is part of what we do. And I want to put it out there as well. I believe that Denise Millet also does something for anyone who uses her affiliate link. So connect with Denise, connect with us, find out what advantage you can have by using this platform. I will also put out there, because in about 3 days, and y'all don't tell anybody because I might get in trouble for saying this, but in 3 days from now, they're going to have an extremely big promotional, I'll call it a sale. And I think if you have ever wanted to try it, if you've ever thought about it even, you need to check it out right now, because they're only going to be, I think, a few days of the promo, but it's worth checking out. Let me just put it out there.
It is.
So you are tuning in to Good Morning Entrepreneurs, and not just a Kajabi platform commercial. We are so glad you're here with us today for show number 105. And today's theme is flexibility in business. I will tell you, Jillo, I had to get pretty flexible about the website unlearning I had to do, because it was rough in the beginning.
I can't imagine. Actually, I probably went through it myself, so I guess I can imagine.
You can imagine. You can.
I'm pretty sure those who are watching with us right now might be feeling that little bit of pain that we are talking about. So one other thing that we do is not just try to solve everyone's pain points in website royalty, but also here. And we encourage you to submit a question to us so we can answer it live. I mean, what better way to be highlighted on a live stream on a Friday morning about entrepreneurship than submitting your question about your business, right?
I love it.
Our question this week from one of our viewers is, how does being flexible help my clients?
So let me give you a little backstory for why this question even came up. I was doing the spaghetti example and analogy of if you don't be flexible in your business, you will break. And they did not understand how in the world that pertained to, doing things with clients. They didn't get it at first. So this was the question that came out of it. I am going to tell you, if you are not flexible and you're not showing up for your clients in a great way, this is the problem. It's sometimes we're rigid about things. Sometimes we're not really listening to our clients. And when you are not listening, that's a form of being rigid and not flexible. I don't want to hear what you're asking. I'm just going to tell you what I want you to know. That is not the right way to do business. People want to be heard. And I think this is a great question just to highlight. It does make a huge difference to your clients and your business if you're flexible, if you listen, if you care and you understand, what they're asking for. I think all of that makes for a better experience. And those customers want to stay. The clients want to come back and do more with you.
Kim, my first thought was going to the calendar, because I'm like, my whole life revolves around the calendar. So I need to be flexible with my calendar. And I think you're right and hit a deeper point with being flexible in our listening and adapting to what is being heard and said. And it brings me back to some conversations that we have in other places about not giving too much information and meeting someone where they're at and really listening to hear what is the question behind what they're saying or asking, because like your point is, if we're too rigid, we're not going to be hearing and seeing those cues that tell us, hold on, slow down a minute. We really need to stick to step 1 first before I go ahead and give you step 10. Like, let's chill out. Because that's where I'm needing to work on my flexibility and my leadership, is being aware of those cues, as well as being okay with being patient and not impatient and trying to rush ahead and be like, well, I'm this speed. Why aren't we going at my speed? Because that's not going to be good for my clients then. So I like how deep you went into that. And it's just way more than being able to move things around on a calendar.
I love it, Jill. I love your ad. You are on fire today. I'm telling you.
Well, I had to show up with some spunk today after the chaos happening this morning.
Well, I'm glad you did.
And I have to say this little piece on Donna, who is our next roving reporter. She said something this week in Clubhouse about her going back to having fun again, because she's made the switch into corporate world professionalism and feeling like she, pretty much had to wear a suit and act professional all the time to have a business. And she has shown what it's like to be flexible in her business. And instead of sticking with the serious business stuff, she's brought a lot more of herself and her flavor into what she loves doing. And it has this fun twist to how she presents what she's really good at. So I'm curious to see the fun twist that she is bringing to help us add some flexibility to celebrating our clients.
Thanks, Kim and Carrie. This is Donna Bender coming to you today as a roving reporter and a Bavarian pretzel for Good Morning Entrepreneurs. Today's Surprise and Delight marketing segment is about finding more fun holidays to show your appreciation to your clients. That's right, folks. On April 26th, we will be celebrating something that is a bit salty, a tad twisty, and delicious. National Pretzel Day. In a world of marketing, finding unique and memorable ways to show appreciation to our clients is what sets us apart. Yes, that is right. You can twist, tie, knot, and dip into a whole world of pretzels. It is a day to celebrate not just a delicious snack, but the intertwined relationships we've built with our clients. So, need some good pretzel ideas? Well, here are a couple. You can give them a do-it-yourself pretzel kit. It's a wonderful way for the whole family to get together. It comes with all the essentials, and they come out looking like this. Impress. And then there is the Pretzelicious. Yeah, it's that. Tin that comes with all different kinds of pretzels. You have the nuggets. You have chocolate-covered pretzels with sprinkles. There are yogurt pretzels. There are gluten-free pretzels. You can put a kit together. And then we have the eco-friendly pretzel bag. It's reusable, and it has a pretzel motif. It's cute, it's eco-friendly, and people will continue to use it. So National Pretzel Day is more than just about enjoying our favorite snack. It's about twisting the ordinary into something extraordinary, just like we do with our businesses every day. So let's raise a pretzel to our wonderful clients and wish them a happy National Pretzel Day. It's going to be twistacular. Back to you, Kim and Carrie.
I think we found a new word. Twistacular.
Yeah. Oh man, she is really bringing the fun to GME as well as to her YouTube channel. She has really been on a roll, and she is so close to a huge milestone, I believe, coming up soon. So there's been a shift, like we said before, in Donna, with her going from this serious professional presenter, I'm going to call it for right now, to this very fun edutainment presenter. I think this is the way she says it. Edutainment, which is so much fun. She's got the Big Show and Tell, which does hold all of her characters in it now. And she really brings us the simple in business marketing and surprise and delight marketing, and really, showing love to our clients. And you can find all of the information that she is trying to help us gather into our toolbox of gift giving here on her YouTube channel, which is at Donna Bender Giving.
Definitely go subscribe. And I think that our theme today fits with Donna, not only her being flexible, but the fact that she's found a way to deliver something, ideas, we'll call them, ideas and strategy for people to use to help their clients know they're appreciated. Because when they know they're appreciated, how much more loyal are they? That is like something that keeps you in business. If you're always having to chase new clients because you can't keep the old ones, you need to check yourself. You need to check your business, because that's hard. That's super hard to always chase someone new. Donna gives great ideas for us keeping who we have and creating that appreciation. I don't know about you, Jill, but there are times when I think something in my head that I don't say out loud, and Donna has reminded me to make sure that people know how much I appreciate them.
Definitely. And Kim, I have to admit that it's something that I want to do. And it's something that is just fallen like to the wayside of adding gifting into my business. It just feels extremely hard to add it in right now. It's probably the season that I'm in, though. I'm just not there yet, which is okay. But Kat Corchado, who is our next Roving reporter, she has been able to help me stay encouraged and consistent with practicing better ways to deal with some of that stress of some of the new things that I might need to add to my business, or some of the things that are influencing how I do in my business at home, like from at home and stuff. So I'm really excited to have everyone listen to this segment, because she has really helped me with that stress that I've been feeling, and ways to really manage it in good ways.
Good stress. As an entrepreneur, Kat, how do you manage stress and maintain your wellness?
How much time do you have? We talk a lot about things to do for stress, but they're kind of in a toy box. You know, you have kids, they only play with certain toys, and the other toys just stay in the toy box. They never pull them out. Now's the time to pull them out. So a lot of things that I've kept in my little toy box for stress, they've just been sitting there. I've been using a lot of them. I take 5 minutes. I don't think of terms of 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I think, let me take 5 minutes and breathe. So I do a lot of deep inhales and exhales. I do a lot of stretching, taking the time to stretch my legs or to stretch whatever part of my body. Because when you're stressed here, you're also stressed in the body. When you're stressed in the body, guess what? You're stressed here, because your body does not understand the difference between good stress and bad stress. So if you have good stress, a new job, you just launched your business, you're expecting a baby, you bought a new car, whatever that is, it's still stressful. I've been utilizing all those tools, like breathing, alternate nostril breathing, stretching, sitting outside on the patio when it's nice, and just breathing the air. When I go for walks now, if I'm stressed out, I think about, what do I see? What do I feel? What do I hear? What do I smell? That kind of pulls everything down. It's not a fitness walk. It's oh, look, isn't that pretty? Look at that flower. That's great. Oh, I smell the air. I feel the wind. Those things. If we took 5 minutes of every hour and just did some breathing, I think we'd all be better because of it.
I'm going to start taking pretty walks instead of fitness walks. Steps will count the same.
It's a good thing they do count the same. So I love it, because good stress is still stressful. Like, she's got some really good key takeaways here. And, I've adopted those awareness walks. I'll call them awareness walks. And they've really helped me with making some big decisions. But Kim, you had something you want to talk about with Kat from when we talked about earlier after her military minute segment.
So Kat says all the time to keep it moving. That's like all the time. That is her language she uses constantly. And I love that language. But I want to like point out about Kat works with professional athletes and professional dancers and all of these really high, I'm going to call them high profile clients. And she still works with ordinary princesses like us. Like, I think that this is something to be very clear on, that when you connect with Kat, you feel like you are a professional athlete, or you feel like you're somebody because Kat makes you feel that way. I was tired earlier this week because I had been out too late one night, and Kat's answer to me was, take it easy. Like, don't overdo it. And I think Kat keeps all of us in her community. It's called Small Space Pilates, and we affectionately call it the Yacht Club because she has thrown a life preserver to all of us to come into her community and get healthy. As business owners, we do not prioritize that most of the time. We will spend our life doing business, and then after we've got a successful business, we then don't have any health to enjoy it. So Kat is changing that for everyone in her community. But this is the front of her website, and she is having a challenge, and I know you all will be shocked when you hear it's called the Keep It Moving 11-minute fitness challenge. We love Kat's Keep It Moving. But if you're looking for a life preserver to find out a better way to treat you, a better way, people, Jill, you all talk a lot about self-care on one of your podcasts, but I'm here to tell you self-care starts with absolutely paying attention. And if you're not paying attention to your health, today's the day. We're gonna say that today's the day, and Kat is the connector you need. So this is the SS Pilates Yacht Club. The commute's great. It's very short. You can wear whatever you want. You can do it in whatever space you want. But Kat makes it possible for us to regain our health. And she is very generous on her website. She does have a sign up for the Yacht Club if you're like me and you knew immediately Kat was your person. Or if you're not, Kat loves to give a try it before you buy it. So she actually literally gives a week away of classes. So you can come into the community and you can work out live with Kat. She answers a million questions for all of us. But there's also a library there. And I do appreciate the fact that on the days that the timing is not exactly right, so sorry, the timing is not right for me to be there live, I still get the video, I still get to work out, and I still get her to answer my questions. She is an official movement specialist. So she has, I can tell you, okay, I'm going to make a confession. Y'all don't laugh at me. I was working out one day and there was a part that was hurting, and I just told Kat, I said, I don't know what the problem is, but I guess I'm just not strong enough to do it. And she had me correct something that seemed like there was no correction in it. She had me do it a different way, and immediately there was no pain, there was no problem. It wasn't a strength thing, it was I didn't do it right thing. So Kat is amazing.
She really is.
So smallspacepilates.com.
Fantastic. Well, if you're needing some more of that encouragement, definitely keep checking out Kat, because she's definitely helped me in encouraging me to keep those awareness walks, being aware of my body also. So even though I'm not in the Yacht Club, seeing her segments on here helped me tremendously. And especially when I'm contemplating a leap. Kim, I don't know how you think about your things that you're wanting to leap into doing, but I get a little nervous. I do take my walks to think about it. And Adam Rothenberg, who our next roving reporter is continuing his conversation with Dan Watt, the director. and filmmaker. And I think you too might be encouraged to go ahead and take a leap after hearing what they have to say on today's segment for Reasons to Leave Corporate.
Thanks, Kim. It's Adam, and I'm not back in my closet, but I am excited to bring you today's Entrepreneurs and Entertainment segment, which features a clip from my 2025 interview with Emmy Award-winning producer Dan Watt. And in 2016, you decide to leave that corporate world and start your own independent production company, Dance and Dan Productions. What made you decide that was the time to go out on your own?
Well, I've always have been fascinated with true stories. And I thought, it's weird. It's like my career is like every 10 years I switch. And I'm like, oh no, I'm coming up on 10 years. I don't know if I want to do this again. But I had worked on rom-coms. I had done 2 movies that Jennifer Aniston was in, and I did, the one with Sarah Jessica Parker and Anna Faris, and it's like, and then I'd worked on X Factor. I had worked on America's Got Talent. You're backstage, you're holding the auditions, and I thought, but there's stories out there that I think really need to be told. So I thought, well, here we go again, and I thought my mind was just so. And here's what I do. I know something's happening, and it's really. It scares me sometimes, is when I put on the original cast album and listen to Defying Gravity by Indina Menzel. When I listen to it like 50 times in a row over and over, I'm like, oh no, here we go. My mind is like, time to jump. And I'm like, oh, and my husband Ron can be like, oh no, he's listening to Defying Gravity. What's gonna happen? So your audience can listen to the, either version right now. But I decided again, like when I gave up theater, it was time to take the leap and tell the stories that I wanted to tell.
And that is today's Entrepreneurs in Entertainment. It's back to you in the GME studio.
Taking the leap, Jillo. Taking the leap.
Well, I think everyone needs to go take a leap over to Adam's entertainment platform to go maybe even hear or read the whole interview with Dan Watt, but also see all of the fun things that he's got going on over there, because this is a pretty big and helpful interview that he's done to gain so much insight from someone like Dan. And I'm excited to see what comes next in his Roving Reporter segments, because I'm just going to take in all of that video. And I'm just always so enamored by who Adam gets to talk to and who we can find on his website.
I love it because he just hit 1.7 million visitors on his site, and that is a huge deal. It's only been a couple of years since he started this site, and it is an entertainment platform. It is not just a normal basic website. I'm going to say that. Adam has put a lot of work. He's listened to a lot of Denise Millet's advice. Let me say that. And he has done so many things to put the work into his interviews. Do you see the page numbers at the bottom? They're just like, they continue on and on and on. He's got over 2,200. I think it's actually 300, but he and I go back and forth, He's got so many interviews that he's got on there. If you want to see a different kind of interview, go check it out because it is so good. He also has a digest. I'm just going to put this out here where you can get the latest and greatest and be the first to know every week. I think it's Saturdays that I get it. So just saying.
Mm-hmm. I'm on that list and I love getting the first scoop on what he's up to.
Me too, Jill. Well, speaking of first scoops, we've had a lot of first scoops with the next thing that we're going to talk about real quick, and that's vision board parties. when you started hosting the vision board party in the community, we watched the community not know exactly what it meant, but they were game to come and try.
Yes.
And then we've watched and I'm going to use Adam as a great example. Adam put something on his vision board, and it seems like the next thing we know, he's done it and been there, done that, got the t-shirt and moving on to something else to put on his vision board. So I'd love for you to talk about it, Jill.
100%. I love Adam's success story, we can call it, of using his vision board, because I know myself was just not on board with it when I first started with you, Kim. It took me a whole year to figure out, not that I had actually done it right, but why it was working, and which has been helpful because, I'm the one leading or hosting the event. So it's good if I know what I'm doing.
Very good, Jill. Very good.
So it's a great way for us to come and brush up our vision boards quarterly to make sure we are on track with our vision. Like Kat has helped us figure out, keeping it moving helps us create that vision. And also just make sure it's simple, as Denise told us, because if it's so overwhelming with what everything is that we want to happen, how are we supposed to focus on what it is that will happen? So keeping it simple is definitely key here. So we go over just, a lot of the steps, the whys, the how it's powerful, and then just have a fun time creating them or updating, because we do come back and change out some of the things. Like you just said, Adam completed some stuff and you had to put new goals and dreams on there. So it's really chill, relaxed, fun little time that we get to have together in the community. So again, that's April 28th at 6 p.m. Central.
And I want to say this is one of the open spaces in the community. We have a lot of spaces that are paid spaces. We need to stay in business so we can support the community long term. But this is one of the open spaces. So if you want to come to the vision board party, you can go to the website and sign up. You also can reach out to the Roving Reporters, connect with them, or even Jill and I are willing to be. I don't like going new places sometimes alone, Jill. I think that's one of the keys to not feeling uncomfortable. If you want to come with one of us so that it's not uncomfortable feeling, just let us know. We're happy to do that with you. We're happy to be part of that journey for you. We know the power of it. So
yeah, definitely. Well, you are right about us having these open spaces. And I love that we do have an open space for things to put out there, they all have ulterior motives. So one of the other things is that we put out there is our podcast, Buckets and Boom Gates, which everyone can expect a new episode coming out soon. We have a great 3-part series that we started, and we talked about it last week, about A Knight's Tale. So that is what you can expect coming out, to finally get the dish on Kim and how she took a movie to inspire her to build a whole business.
I think it's funny, Jill, because while we were recording this podcast, and we're just letting you all in on the behind the scenes of things, Jill never knows what to expect with me. I call audibles all the time, y'all. I'll just be honest. But while we were recording it, we realized that we had some courage challenge questions, because it is about courage. And so that's going to be part of what happens with this podcast. And it's a little delayed, y'all, and it's okay that we're just saying it out loud. It's a little delayed because I actually said out loud, Jill, we need to do this. We need to put a question, sheet together. So you will find it in the show notes when it does air. Be watching for it. If you haven't already, followed the podcast, go and follow it. We are silly as all get out. We make a lot of confessions, but really, these are things that are real experiences that we're sharing, not just fluffy talk. So,
a real experience that I have to share is in my segment now. So we'll head over there, but it's about podcasting and how surprising things have come out of me podcasting.
And this particular one is about podcasting to build relationships. that is a surprise, Jill. I will say that when you start a podcast, you have this set of things you think you're going to, do or learn or put out in the world. And every single podcast that we have, I giggle. There is something different about it. And this is no exception. So I can't wait for everybody to hear you talk about it.
Thanks, Kim. Who can benefit from one of my podcasts? I'm on a variety of podcasts, but the two that are mine that I am collaborating with, and on both of them actually, one with my friend Linda Bonnie, who you see here as a roving reporter, and one is my husband. And both of them have not just been about being a hobby or being for business, but have really been for bettering myself and my relationships. And that may not be for everybody. I'm not much of a listener of podcasts, but I really enjoy hosting. And mainly because of those conversations that are quite powerful and healing, which may also be extremely powerful for listeners in healing as well as building their confidence and having more relationships, especially around the topics that we do talk about. I love learning more about self-care, and having had been really committed to that podcast for Mucked Up My Self-Care in the last 2 years now has extremely elevated how I care for myself as well as my family. And my Mama Outspoken podcast with my husband has really helped us on our communicating skills. It helped us get out of a really tough time in our relationship during our postpartum months. And now as we jump back into it in this next season, I am really starting to see where we need to connect better. And this podcast, not only do I intend it to help others in their parenting journey, but also help us in ours. So I hope that you have the ability to go out and find a podcast that does help you. And if not, create one of your own, because who says you can't have one just as a hobby or just for business or really for even more personal reasons, but for self-care. Back to you in the GME studio.
We are going to have to hurry, Jill. I just saw the time. Throw up the podcast cover art, though, for Mama Outspoken. The birthday boy, Bobby, and Jill are doing a great job on the podcast. Go and check it out and follow. And let's roll, Jillo.
Yes, right into our last segment. Join us for Princess Speak.
That was the fastest 7 seconds ever. Let me just say, I'm always crooked with my crown, but this time I think it's even more crooked, y'all. So this week's Princess Speak word, and Princess Speak is the simple business language that we use for entrepreneurs and business owners around our community on the daily. This week is ish. It actually was born out of last week's show, because we were talking about at 51-ish we're going to do this, or at 45-ish we're going to do this. Ish is just a way to be flexible, y'all. Manage expectations. Sometimes we're late to do things because life is happening, so I'll be there ish this time. Yeah. That way no one gets their feelings hurt and no one thinks that you're just being flaky. So that's my quick. You guys got like 30 seconds total, so go fast.
I think it's my favorite way to add that I might be late or I might be early for whatever it is I'm doing.
I love ish because it allows me to unhook myself from perfectionism, and that's one of my biggest things I got to fight.
Okay, both of y'all took my answers, so I agree with both of you. Ish is just a way of saying, that it's, I'll be there, but I need a couple minutes or something like that. So I love that.
Ish is perfect for someone like me who's late to almost everything except a show and an interview.
I love it. Well, I'm going to say ish is this little bunny. I have no association with this, but Melissa and Doug is the brand of this little bunny. This is the softest little bunny. We hope you all have a wonderful Easter and a wonderful holiday weekend. We love you all, and we will see you next week. Join us next Friday at 7 a.m. Central.
This is the team signing off for Good Morning Entrepreneurs.